He can put it in there. We're minus one.
Then I'm gonna
He's coming.
cover the flag up, right? So.
On his way.
Just a moment, folks.
It's not official farm
There and
standard,
you hear
but
it getting
it's
fired.
way to go.
There he comes.
Standing ovation.
Don't think so. Excuse me.
We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to the April 26, 2018 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I currently serve as the chair. Joining me today is Commissioner Shelley Bueller. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Bob Archer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, if we could start with our first item.
Our first item is item 3, consent agenda.
There are 7 items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions regarding it?
Move to approve as presented.
A second?
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve the consent agenda as presented, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business, A County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Sure. Vouchers are totaling $776,268.85. We have capers totaling $300,440.40, so that makes up most of that amount. Holding accounts with the state of Kansas, $111,232.73. And Parks and Recreation, $67,604.68. And I have no concerns or questions. Move approval.
There's been a motion to approve the vouchers by
Second.
Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move to approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook to approve, with Commissioner Archer seconding. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, information technology number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-138-2018 with LogMeIn, Inc. for remote computer access at a cost of $3,999 for 1 year with funding from the 2018 information technology budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat Oblander with the Information Technology Department. This item is the renewal for LogMeIn software. This is the software that county employees can use to remotely access their computers when they're on out of the office, away, or during an emergency when people can't get to the office. They can still get to their computers remotely and execute business functions. It does provide some backup for disasters or just for regular travel wherever people might be on travel for the county. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions regarding the item?
Move to approve the contract.
A second?
Motion for approval by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Our next item.
Item C, corrections number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-139-2018 with Vallejo Behavioral Healthcare, Inc. for collaboration including supportive employment services and general behavior health care for offenders.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is just basically a memorandum of agreement of our continued support of supported employment services with Vallejo. It's an endeavor and an initiative that we have that once we set up our mental health program here at the jail, one of the things that we did was we instilled and implemented a reentry and discharge planning program, which is very vital to both our accreditation and to the services once somebody gets out of jail. But one of the things we also know is one of the biggest barriers that we have is those individuals finding meaningful employment. And, you know, I've mentioned before the studies that they've had about gaining meaningful employment, but one of the barriers that we have found with those who suffer with serious and persistently mental illness is being able to attain meaningful employment and get a job. This partnership with Vallejo goes along with our commitment to working with JUMP in the community, but also it goes along with our commitment to working with Vallejo of starting the partnership before somebody gets out, looking at those barriers of jobs and meeting them and getting them with the services they need prior to them getting out. We do know that there's sometimes we don't know if somebody's going to get the actual date when somebody's going to get out, but we're going to start that program inside the jail. I'm not asking for any funds or anything like this. We have the funds already set aside as part of our duties that we're doing, but just allows us to continue that work. We're going to do some training at Vallejo. Vallejo's going to have their staff coming to the jail to look at our processes. So this just allows us to better serve that population. And regardless of whether they have mental health issues or not, this is going to serve all the inmates. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I might just note there, JUMP has a gathering on Monday, and I suspect that they will be applauding Shawnee County, if this approved, for continued enhancement of trying to find meaningful employment for those with mental health and to stop the cycle of incarceration and crime in our community.
That is my hope, yes.
Commissioner Archer?
Yeah, is this a new approach that we're going through, or is this just an enhancement of what we're
It
already
is,
doing?
a little of both. It is mostly an enhancement of what we've done. We have had discharge services, but once the commissioners were very supportive in allowing us to build our mental health program, one of the things we recognized that we lacked a little bit was in discharge services and starting to look at those risks for reoffense and to break the cycle. So this is something new with this memorandum of agreement, but it is basically an overall enhancement of what we're doing. We've already been doing some of this. This basically, we've seen this as a bigger need than what we thought in the community, so we have the ability, we have the staff to be able to do this, and so I don't know if that answers your question, but yes, it is an enhancement of what we've already been doing. It just us kind of solidifying our actual commitment to that.
Are we going to have a way to measure success of the program?
Absolutely.
And see results?
Yes. We're going to be working with Vallejo and tracking, and we've already started that, working and tracking those who have are already in the program and being able to, and also on the event on, I believe it's April 30th, we are expected to have with our discharge somebody who's going to come forward and even acknowledge that they've been through the program. But yes, this is something that is. Any part of these kind of programs, I want statistics to show that it's success.
Good. Yeah, you see so many
Absolutely.
Projects and programs that start, and we never see the follow-up. We
Correct.
never see the end result, which is really the reason we're starting it in the first place.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Bueller?
I don't know that I have any specific questions, but just thank you for your willingness to work with JUMP and with Vallejo, and
Absolutely.
it's best for our community as a whole.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Vallejo.
A second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank
Next
you.
item.
Item C2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-140-2018 to participate in and support the Mayor's Task Force Against Domestic Violence.
Good morning again, Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. About a month ago, I was approached by some people from the city of Topeka and the YWCA regarding being a member of the Mayor's Task Force Against Domestic Violence. And at that time, I had some questions because I didn't know the overall goal, I didn't know the overall process of what's going on. So I set up a meeting before I had Jim, who also looked at the last memorandum agreement. I failed to say that. He did review that for legality and form. But before I met with Jim Crowell in his office, I met with Hannah Figs-Hord from the YWCA and had a really good conversation about what is actually the goal, the purpose, and the idea behind this task force, and, was it, obligation of funds and things like that. I first found out, no, it's not an obligation of funds, that many years ago, there was a coordinated community response team, we called it CCRT. I was involved in that as a representative from the Department of Corrections, several years ago. And it basically was a collaboration of where partners in health services, support services, and law enforcement, public safety got together and were looking at ways that we can help reduce the number of victims through programs at the jail, programs in the community, better awareness on giving notification to victims when somebody got out of jail. So we've been quite involved in this already. When I talked to Hannah, she had indicated that this was just an extension or an enhancement of this program, going to the next step. Basically, that we already have a representative from the Department of Corrections who meets already with this. It's basically for us to set up our systems and let them know what we have in place, how we can work with community, again, through victim notifications. Are there programs that we can look at for perpetrators in the jail, victims programs and things like that? So we've already been a part of this. I certainly had no problems at all when after I got done talking to Hannah regarding the goals and the purpose of this. This is a very good initiative. We are the ones who hold those who both victims and those who commit the crimes of domestic violence. So this was a no-brainer for us to be involved. I did meet with Jim regarding this, and he had no problem as well and approved it for legality. So I'd be happy to answer questions you may have.
Any questions?
No, I have no questions.
Archer?
Well, again, is this a new approach, or is this an enhancement? I think, from what I understand, it's an enhancement
It is.
of what we're already doing.
Correct.
And the follow-up question, like before, is there a mechanism to look at results?
Yes, I'm going to work with...
monitor success?
Yes, I'm going to work with Hannah and them to find out what their process of, because they're leading the program, to see what their process is for success and things like that.
Okay.
I do know the processes we're going to build in the Department of Corrections are proven evidence-based programs and stuff like that. The biggest issue they have with the Department of Corrections, a lot of it is being able to get representatives, if there is a victim of domestic violence in jail on a different case or something like that, that they have access to the inmate to be able to come in about services, but also the victim notification. That's a big issue. When somebody gets out of jail, can somebody be notified for safety reasons? And we've got that in place. But it is basically enhancement. But I will be working with them on what type of statistics they have and data. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I'll move to approve the contract.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our next item.
Item D, County Counselor, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-141-2018 with Terracon Consultants, Inc. for geotechnical services for the Kansas Expo Center renovation project at a cost of $104,800.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crowell, Shawnee County Counselor. As the clerk stated, this is a contract with Terracon to provide geotechnical services on the Expo Center renovation project. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Steve Pretch is here. Chuck Smith is here also with regard to this contract.
We'll talk just a moment about the price that's listed here, the $104,800, how that breaks out, if this is a final price, if this is a preliminary price, what we're looking at.
Yeah, this is an anticipated cost for these features, depending on exactly what we encounter, but that's the projected cost. When we started last year with HTK, we had a project budget for geotech services that I believe was over $200,000 in the original project budget. Through the master planning process, we've refined it, our scope down to a couple of different areas, so we've been able to also lessen the scope of these services that will be needed. So we went from over $200,000 to a projected budget of $105,000, and this contract comes in at $104,000 and some additional. But yeah, it is an as needed, and the biggest portion of this contract, there's $8,800 for work that's going to go into the design process, and then the bulk of that budget is for construction services, what may need to occur during the course of construction. So that's why it's open-ended, because you just never know exactly what you might encounter, but this is the best estimate.
And is this a maximum price, or could there be more if we encounter issues along the way?
Well, it could be more if we encounter issues that require a change in scope.
At the same time, it could be less.
We're hoping it'll be less.
That's what I think we all are. Commissioner Archer, any questions?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Bueller?
No, I have none. I'll move approval of the contract.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All Opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item E, Administrative Services, number 1, update on revenue expenditures as of March 31st, 2018.
Good morning, Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I'm here with the March 31st financial overview, and we will go through the different categories. As I usually say, this is a snapshot view as of March 31st. One other thing that I do need to bring to your attention today is that I will be showing you, of course, 2018 numbers, budgeted numbers for that same time period, and then comparing that also to 2017. Our process has changed in 2018 as to how we are recording accrued items. At the end of each year, we have to accrue items, and then the next year, we reverse that accrual as those items come in. We have changed that. It used to be that we did all the accruals at the end of the year. Now we have changed it that we accrue them at the end of the year, but then we reverse it at the beginning of the next year to make sure that whole process is done in a short period of time. So what that means is I have gone back and I've restated 2017 numbers based on that same process so that we're comparing apples to apples.
Okay.
You know, otherwise, so these numbers may not be the same number if you looked back at March in 2017's report. And that's why I wanted to bring it to your attention.
Okay.
But this allows us to really be comparing apples to apples.
Okay.
Okay, so I will start on the revenue. We've received $51,068,159. That is compared to the budgeted amount through March of $50,386,009. So we are $682,000 over budget for that time period. As I usually look at the percentage, that variance is 0.65%. So that's 2/3 of 1%. So even though it's a large number, it's in percentage-wise, it's relatively small. And this chart shows the different categories. The first category we'll look at is property tax. Property taxes, we received $44,770,084. We've received $652,000 above budget, or above the estimate, and that's really in three categories. Real estate taxes came in at $486,000 more than was budgeted. That, it could be that we have less delinquencies, or it could be that more people are paying the full amount in the first half of the year rather than splitting it. So we really won't know that until we get to June and see how the rest of the year comes out. But it's real estate taxes, then delinquent taxes are $74,000 more than were budgeted, and then the NRA rebates, the neighborhood revitalization programs, those were $91,000 less. And that, those rebates decrease our taxes that we keep. So by that being less, we keep more of that money. The next category is other taxes, and we've received $4,076,189. That is $130,000 over budget, and that is mostly in special assessments, which came in at $114,000 more than I had budgeted. So, which is a good sign that people are paying those special assessments. Next category is property-related fees. We've received $376,987, and that is within $6,200 of the budget, so right on budget for the year. But I will say it is $130,000 less than last year, so we do continue to see that decrease based on the change in the legislation a few years ago. Charges for services, we've received $833,409. That is $172,000 under what was budgeted, and that's in Parks and Recreation. And it's $40,000 less than last year. So it's only $40,000 less than last year, but they had projected more that hasn't materialized yet. Doesn't mean it won't. The last is other revenue. We've received $1,011,490. That is $77,000 over the budgeted amount, and that's in a variety of cases, but penalties and interest is up $49,000 over what I had estimated, and then the rest is from a variety of areas. So here's our pie chart that shows through March 31st, 88% of our revenue is from property taxes, 8% from other taxes, 1% from property-related fees, 1% from charges for services, and then miscellaneous is 2%. Now we'll go on to the expenditure side. Our expenditures through March 31st were $26,382,082 compared to our budget of $26,652,991. So we are $270,000 under budget, which is 0.26%, so 1/4%. So I would say, we are right in line with budget on our total expenditures, and there again, this shows the different categories. The first category is law enforcement. You will probably notice that I have changed the name of this category from last year from public safety to law enforcement. The tax lid bill referred to it as law enforcement, so to be consistent with that, I've changed the category name to law enforcement. And for law enforcement, we spent $10,582,249. That is $86,000 under budget, and that was all in the Sheriff's Department. Next category is public health. We spent $3,595,948, and that is right on budget. But I will bring to your attention that it is $200,000 less than last year through March, and that is our decreasing subsidy to Grace Med. Administrative services, we spent $4,415,938. That's $120,000 under budget, and that is in many areas, but contingency is over is under budget by $50,000, and on that I just take the contingency for the year, divide it evenly among the months, so we have not had to use that as much as that would have required. And then the IT and county clerk are both under budget in that category. And then Public Works, we spent $2,727,966. That is $5,700 over budget, so right on budget. Parks, Recreation, and Expo Center, we spent $4,154,676. That is $62,000 under budget, so there again, pretty much right on budget. And then debt service, we've spent $905,305, which that is the first half interest only, and that is $6,900 under budget, so they're again right in line with budget. So this is just showing the different categories, and as I point out, the law enforcement, you can see how much more of our budget goes to law enforcement than to any of the other categories, and debt service is by far the lowest. So here's our pie chart. Law enforcement was 40% of our expenditures, followed by Parks, Recreation, and Expo at 16%. Then we have Public Health at 14%, Administrative Services at 17%, and then Public Works at 10%, Debt Service at 3%. So, any questions?
Questions?
No, I don't have any. Thank you, Betty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item F, Commission, excuse me, number 1, consider reappointment of Roger Dirks to the Community Corrections Advisory Board effective July 1st, 2018.
This is a request to reappoint Mr. Dirks. He's expressed his desire to again serve on the Shawnee County Juvenile Corrections Advisory Board. Any questions regarding that? I'll make a motion then to approve the request to reappoint Mr. Dirks to that board.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you very much for your service, Mr. Dirks. Our next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for any member of the public or department head to address the commission on any item of interest or information.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block, Public Works and Solid Waste. This is just a reminder that the Solid Waste Department will be having its free waste tire collection event this Saturday, April 28th, and it's going to be held from 9 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. at the Shawnee County North Annex, which is located at 1515 Northwest Saline Street. It's free to residents of Shawnee County, and we will collect from them up to 5 tires of passenger vehicles, it's cars or small pickups. No large truck tires will be accepted, and it is not available to businesses, but county residents only. So anyway, just a reminder that will be going on, and looks like the weather will be really nice this weekend, so hopefully there will be a lot of spring cleaning, and it'll be a good opportunity to get rid of those tires as opposed to throwing them in the ditch.
Do you see a lot of that?
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Spectrum Venue Management, the Kansas Expo Center. This weekend, starting today, we have the American Quarter Horse Association Youth Horse Show, and that continues all the way through Sunday. And then we have a spa super sale going on in Ag Hall Friday through Sunday as well. So good time to get a swim spa or a hot tub if you're in need of one. I'm going to stay as far away as possible so my spouse doesn't get one. And then next weekend, the Kansas Kid Fest comes back to the Expo Hall from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm happy to report the I Love the 90s tour is selling very well. We're happy with the pre-sale and on-sale and the amount of support that it's gotten from our local media, so thank you for that. And then just a last note on a personal note, the Cleveland Browns have 2 picks in tonight's NFL draft, so go Browns.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oakes from the Health Department. May, which starts next week, has been designated as the Maternal Mental Health Awareness Month. And so because of this, the Health Department is co-sponsoring an event next Friday on May 4th at Stormont Vale Health at the Posez Educational Center. The first part of it is a public viewing of the film Dark Side of the Full Moon, which looks at issues of maternal mental health. It is free, open to the public from 12 to 1:45. And then in the morning, there's a professional workshop. There will be continuing education credits given to that from 8:30 to 1:45, so they will have the workshop and then the screening of the film. It's a $12 fee, and lunch is provided, and that is sponsored by Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods, Stormont Vale, and the Shawnee County Health Department. So if anyone would like information on the workshop or the film, they go to Stormont Vale's website, or it will be on our Facebook page. So, thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other member of the public or department head? Commissioner Archer, anything?
I do have one item. I have an opening that's come up on the Topeka and Shawnee County Library Board, and it's kind of an unusual situation, but this position is for someone who lives in District 3 but must be outside the city limits. And I'm having trouble finding someone, so if there is any interest, Tim's over there writing furiously, and I appreciate it. If there is interest in serving on the library board, please get in touch with my office so I can fill that position. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
I don't have anything to add, thank you.
This weekend is set to be busy. We have on tomorrow a ribbon cutting at the Abbott Community Center, where the Boys and Girls Club are opening the lower level that's been renovated, and so adding more services to our youth in the community. And hope you are able to be out there tomorrow afternoon for that ribbon cutting. Saturday, bright and early, we have pancakes over at the Combat Air Museum. Look forward to being told the right way to make my pancakes. And hope you all...
After 5 years, you haven't learned?
I'm a slow learner. But hope that we're able to be there for that. And then on Saturday evening, the zoo is having their fundraiser for the Roaring Poor. There's lots of great things happening at the zoo and in our community. And then also on Monday, there is the Nehemiah Action Group meeting. They're gathering at the Grace, Most Pure Heart of Mary, thank you, for their report to our community as to how the projects are coming along. So again, there's a lot going on. But finally, Topeka and Shawnee County were recently recognized as the 6th in cost of living, and this was a report that just came out yesterday. So this was a very good report for our community, showing the affordability of living in our community. And it's something I think we already knew, but it's good to be appreciated and recognized. Surprisingly, Topeka ranks very high, number 3 in the state for millennials and for retirements. So we, again, having a recognition, and I think that is really an attribute to our Parks and Recreation. When you look at all the different offerings that Parks and Recreation have for millennials and retirement, from Lake Shawnee, the golf courses, to the trails, to the senior centers, to the community activities, there's just a lot going on. So, good news for our community, and it's positive news.
Well said.
Our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session today for a consultation with an attorney for the body or agency, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, and this is regarding our coroner services, and I would make a motion for 15 minutes.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. We are into executive session. We are back from executive session. No action taken. We are adjourned.